Hello, hello, and welcome to Romancing Grenada, Caracon Fitimatnik. I'm romancing today with my neighbors, my former neighbors, my Laddick neighbors, my Bellevue Land neighbors, the Edward boys. I have with me Mr. Teddy Edwards, a former agricultural extension officer, and my dear friend, Mr. Sypriani, better known as Raphael Edwards. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dee. How you doing?
I'm very good. Raphael, I know you were an officer of the law, but I don't know, were you a detective?
Yes, ma'am.
How did you have, like, first, I don't know how the detective part works. Are you a corporal? Are you a, what were you? Just
Nah, at the time, I had no rank at the time. I joined the detective like about a month after I graduated from the academy.
Okay.
Yeah, I was lucky enough that they accept me to be a detective. It's one of the best things that happened to me,
All right.
Cool.
Well, we're gonna come back and talk about you and all your cases and stuff, but I'll start with Teddy because we're giving age the preference here, right?
I'm a young man,
Oh, sorry. I'm losing half of your face at the moment. Okay.
You know?
Yes. So, Teddy, like, the show is all about recognizing the things people do. And one thing I want to start with your family in general, and Teddy, I think mostly with you, is your love for agriculture. And we lived in one big yard, and you had what I would say looks like a farm in North America. You had your property sectioned off. I remember that massive donkey stable. You had rabbits, you had ducks, you had lettuce beds, and they were all you build like a barn kind of or a fence. You had them all fenced off.
Yes.
Where did your love for agriculture come from? Like, how did it all begin?
Well, as you know, agriculture is really the mainstay of Grenada. And in times that, we was kind of a little bit poor, we had to be self-sufficient then.
Yeah.
So I started doing my little farming with lettuce and rabbits and ducks and stuff as when I was a very early age then.
Yes, yes.
And I instilled that kind of a character instills in me. And up to this day, I still do my farming.
I saw your farm. You're in New York. You're in New Jersey, right?
Yes, I'm in New Jersey.
Yeah. And you showed me. I saw your chickens and stuff. I saw your farm.
I do. Yes, farm.
But you and Sypriani. But sorry, I'm gonna keep saying Raphael because I know you better by your home name, right, Raphael?
You're good. You're good. You're good.
It's kind of strange because your dad was a mason, like one of the best stone masons around. I remember.
You're a brick mason, yes.
Yeah, he did Miss Pete. Most of the fancy stonework houses we see around the area was done by your dad.
Yes.
I remember people praising Miss Pitt, Pearl Pitt's house.
Yes.
For the work he did there. So for you to just branch out and be so serious about agriculture, because nobody around there was that serious. Like, just plant all little gardens and stuff, but you went you went from SAS to studying at that time.
Yes, agriculture, yes.
It was called.
But generally, I'm a brick mason too. I could do it, but I just don't like it. Well, I could do it,
Well, to be honest, I expect that of you, but I can't remember ever seeing you saying that. Yeah, going with you.
Yeah, I went to work with Daddy for a week, and he had fired me though. He had got rid of me. I couldn't handle it at the time. Brick work is hard work.
Yes.
And I couldn't take it on. But then when I left home and I went in agricultural school, the third week I went to agricultural school, we had to do the same brick laying again. So I jumped out from the frying pan into the fire. So it was the same thing.
But with agriculture, you had a love there, so you didn't mind, I guess.
I didn't mind because I couldn't go back home then. I had to stay.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, for the longest while, you were the pride and joy of our little corner there because you had a vehicle.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
And I mean, you gave everybody a ride.
Oh, you sure? Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you, I don't know, as it was very proud moments for us seeing you doing this kind of job, going from one place to the other, improving the agriculture. What exactly did your job entail?
Well, as an agricultural instructor, I was an agricultural instructor, and being an agricultural instructor is like a teacher. Then it's a teaching process.
Okay, so you would go from farm to
As
farm.
you know, most of the farmers, yes, because most of the farmers in Digue and surrounding areas, they didn't have this great background in the science, the arts. They might have been planting stuff, but they don't do no bookkeeping. They don't know the general husbandry of the plant. So this was my job to educate the farmers as to different fertilizers, different varieties, and stuff.
Yeah, and even now, like I needed some help with birds, and I call up Riffle, of course, because Riffle and I are closer in age, and he says, "Well, Teddy is the man, you know." Even now, you told me you love bird watching and all that.
Oh yeah, I do bird watching and stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, it's good, and it's sad that way Grenada agriculture is gone now. I hope they can bring it back. But I'll come back a little bit. So let me just talk about Raphael, because Sypriani Edwards, you have quite a record as a police detective. Especially you didn't stay there very long, but you managed to solve all your cases.
Yeah, I did a good job.
Very good.
I did a very good job in the little time I spent in the police force, you know. I don't trying to give away my age. In 1988, I got a plaque for having solving the most case in the island at 1988, you know.
Wow!
Yeah.
Congratulations!
You had a meeting PA Mary show.
And
you know, I got a plaque for as a young back then we were hungry, you know.
Yes.
The people who I worked with during my tenure, they all right now are ruling the police force right now, you know.
Their ranks really up there. Yeah.
A very good friend of mine, his name is Issa Pierre. He's in charge of the CID right now.
Issa Pierre.
Oh. Yeah, I think you might have heard that name, you know.
No, I never heard it.
That's a very close friend of mine, you know, and he's in charge, you know. You know, I have guys like, you know, all the guys who I worked with is in high position in the force right now. But me and Issa Pierre, we was in training school together. We always used to compete against ourselves. Oh. Like my number was 594. He was 595 when we graduated. You know? I beat him in the final examination, you know. And when I got the highest mark. I got the highest mark in the final exam. Right. When I was graduating from my training school, you know. Right. Oh. So I still have a little record in the Royal Grenada Police Force. You know, I'm no longer a police, but I still got a lot of love for the police of Grenada, you know. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And so your record still stands? I'm not sure. I think he lasts for a couple of years. I don't know if he's still there, you know. Okay. I'm not came up here and I never really tried to, you know. Yeah. You also went to SAS and you were on a show with me before. But you had your older brother, which we call Telfer. Is Telfer his proper name or John? No, Telfer is his proper name. John is alias. Oh. Yeah. What is John as an alias? No, that's a different story. We could talk about that offline, okay? Okay. Yeah. So Telfer was already a police, and I'm sorry he wasn't able to come on today because we were in Carriacou. I think my mom and my dad had a little argument, and we were living in Carriacou in the 1970. I think it was 77 or 78, and Telfer was there, and it helped us to feel so at home. And he would always come by, and I remember him coming by to bring the news to Mom that a close family member died, and that's how we came back to Grenada. So you had somebody to follow, but was he your role model, really? Not really, now. If I tell you, it's a funny story. I went to farm school as Teddy.
Oh,
You
you
know,
did?
I was following more Teddy than Telford because I went to farm school.
Okay.
And when I went to farm school, it was during the intervention.
Right.
I wanted to stay in farm school and then go to do animal husbandry, be a
Okay.
vet.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, they was giving scholarship due to the revolution. And when the revolution fell,
Mm-hmm.
the scholarship has kind of dried up because there's no more revolution.
Right.
So after I finished farm school, I went to teach for a few seconds in Lafayette Primary School. A few seconds. But then I didn't have English language.
Right.
So I wasn't making no money.
Okay.
So my good friend Holly Thomas Phillip tell me, join the force. I make more money in the force because I get the money from my subjects.
Oh, really?
So I say, no, I'm going for the money.
Right.
So that's why I never been in the force as a regular constable because I never get paid as a constable.
That's
Because I never get in the force, I give them my subjects and it was pretty cool from there, you know. So it was nice, you know.
Well, I guess the smarter guys go to solving cases, like, because at the time, I think a lot of people were just entering the police force. Like, as soon as you finish high school, it was into the police force for most guys, right? So,
And if you look at the job market in Grenada, it's not that great, you know.
mm-hmm.
So then that was the avenue of employment.
Yeah.
So, you know, people went to the force because it was, I could say, kind of easy, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that was the avenue because there's not much, even up to today, there's not much jobs in Grenada. And a good thing, don't mind, I miss the force a lot, but a good thing people like me and other people leave the force because
The young people,
a lot of people will not get no jobs. People look at it. I mean, you know, I love the force, but a lot of people should be happy that I leave because I make room, you know, for somebody else, you know.
True.
You know.
So let's talk a little bit about, because we often chat about growing up and the people that was around us and stuff. And Teddy, and you guys used to help almost everybody with whatever they want. I remember you guys helping Miss Renrick, Veronica Renrick there, who had a nice big
Yeah, Miss Renrick will be I should say, a sort of a productive lady.
A very productive lady.
Yeah, in the time that she used to burn her cashew nut, she had sugar cane, you know, everything. So we used to try to be on her side.
Right.
Because we didn't have too much of sugar cane and cashew nuts and stuff.
Right.
So being with her now, we had access to them things.
Right.
Yeah.
But I remember she tried, Teddy, and I remember you being so active. You were, I think Eric sent here too. When she was teaching us how to make sugar.
Yes, we made sugar, yes.
We made sugar, but it became...
Yeah, she didn't have the recipe together.
Yeah.
But we had the cane, and we did everything that she tell us to do. But then we was kind of halfway successful, halfway.
Yeah, halfway. I think too much white lime. Too much white lime.
Too much white lime, yeah. Yeah, I can remember that.
Yeah, she called all the children and you and packing wood and who started.
Yeah.
It was a good time. But I mean, it was a wonderful way for her to pass on what she knew to us, although
yes,
have to do that.
That's history.
Good history.
She was trying to hand down what she know.
Right.
Although she didn't know much.
Right.
And we didn't know much, so we couldn't correct anyone. We couldn't correct ourselves.
I know.
Yeah.
But then it's just now it's up to us to just tweak it a little, isn't it? A little more, a little less, a little. But you guys spend the morning cutting the cane. It was like a real cane sugar production. You spend the morning cutting the cane. Some of us get the wood. She had the big pot.
It's true.
You know, our neighborhood, like we had really good people as neighbors. The elder people, and we had the advantage of people. I remember Miss Baby Buttron was, I think in 1975 she was 100 years old or something like that. We had the very senior people.
Yes,
so we learned a lot from them.
Mm-hmm.
We also had HED.
And I'm gonna say this to you. We formed a little community there. We had respect for the elders.
Yes.
We had respect, and by so saying that we grew up in a nice, neat little community. Everybody went to school. We never had fights and stuff so much with each other.
No.
And we all end up being successful
Okay.
to the end.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, I remember too at moonlight nights when we used to do riddles and popcorn or roast corn or something. We all sit in the yard there. I remember a riddle Rafael told up to now, and I can't remember how we solved it. About a man had to cross the river with the vine and the cow. Rafael, you remember a riddle?
I can't remember. That's a long time ago. You know, I gotta go back. You know, go back in my brain. You know what I'm saying?
But things like that, I've seen questions like that on MBA programs, like the riddles and stuff we used to do. I see it or similar situations on MBA programs, and it's amazing how much we learn. And I think we were very educated back then. We knew what we want. We knew how to get it. We knew who to talk to if we didn't, know how to get it. And the people that lived in our neighborhood was always willing to help. Because I remember my mom had to borrow $5 from Mr. Bell or something to pay for my GCE.
And you know something, like my grandmother used to use some words back in the days, like coconut moon and stuff like that. Coconut moon. And I heard the people up here, the governor of New York was using that word a couple of days ago. You know.
Yeah.
Remember that, Teddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. And you used to thought that was a crazy word, and you go international, and I didn't even know that, you know.
Yeah, they were very experienced, and your grandmother traveled a lot. So I remember the barrels. Was it barrel or boxes? Boxes are
from the boot. You know,
and everybody gathered around to see what if we're getting candy or not.
Because back then people were poor, you know. I mean, we still poor, but back then people were real poor, it was, we did make it.
I think somehow we were middle class, because I think our neighborhood especially were all tradesmen. If you remember, everybody in the neighborhood were tradesmen, and nobody in our neighborhood worked on an estate. I can't remember anybody in our neighborhood working on one of those estates as a laborer or anything like that. So I don't think we were that poor. We were surviving. Maybe
that's a better word. Okay, yeah. And something, I just bring up that point. More than 90% of the kids in our neighborhood went to secondary school.
I think maybe all.
I didn't want to say 100 because I might have missed somebody, So I say 90 something percent, because I don't want to.
Well, you're probably right. Yeah. Let's go with 95. Yes.
Yeah, that's 90. I say 90 something. I didn't want to put a number on it, because I don't know if you had missed somebody. But like I went down to Grenadian, and I was looking at a couple years ago. Like everybody have a pipe in the backyard. Remember, people had to go and jog water from the pipe stand and stuff like that. In our neighborhood, everybody had a pipe at one time. Right now, I mean, it's like, and that's a step up.
You know what was amazing though? You guys had pipe, bathroom, not just pipe. You had the bathroom and everything. And Teddy was very ingenious. Rafael, you were younger, so Teddy did mostly all the work, I would think. And so, I remember Teddy dragging Christopher to the standpipe every evening to wash his foot. And Teddy would say things like, because I think Suzanne would first try to get Christopher to wash his foot and he didn't want to. And then Teddy will drag him and say, it's manhandling in it, manhandling.
Yeah, you have to be manhandled,
Teddy always took charge of those kinds of things.
Yeah. I would say this. I would say this, right? We have an issue in the neighborhood, a religious issue. And if we didn't break that barrier, I would have ended up being kind of funny in a way, because we had Pentecost.
Yeah. All the religions were there.
They used to avoid the Catholic and the Anglican. The Adventists avoiding the Anglican. So now we could only be friends when we in the school or we coming up Waterfall.
Right.
We couldn't mix in the neighborhood when you're home much. Look at Costly Mason and them. Them guys couldn't come and play no games with us.
But they were,
Sammy and them.
oh,
They couldn't play.
no.
But when I hear Sammy and them guys talking about cricket and the one that in politics now, talking about crayfish and soccer and things, he lied. He said a lie. He never go fishing nowhere.
What
He
about
never played no cricket.
adults?
He never played no cricket with no gospel.
Maybe as
They
an adult.
never participated in nothing.
No, they
So
couldn't.
people like these jokers and them shouldn't be ruling anything.
They
They
couldn't.
doesn't have no borders.
But you
No
know,
borders whatsoever.
I remember once when Mr. Mason, Phil, one of them came and they got a beating for playing marble in the
Playing
yard.
marble.
Guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another color, you know who was like that too? Alfred with Jerry and Dennis.
Yeah, they get
They
a
had-
flogging.
That's a third set. They know when he coming around the corner and he don't tell you anything and run. I remember those days, like we was like scum to them,
Because you were Catholics.
I mean, like they were better than us, But
Yeah,
you
we
all,
were Catholic.
you all never had that.
Yeah,
You and Aaron and them never had that kind of persona,
No. Because we have to be friends with everybody. How are you gonna
Because
get them to like Jesus if you're there?
But when you understand too, we had two schools in the neighborhood, right?
Yes.
We had Holy Innocents and Mount St. Albans, right?
Yeah, Anglican and Catholic.
And then we had the people who think that they was a little bit better than us. They went to Grenville, Methodist, and Anglican.
Right.
That's the people who they think that they was better than.
Yes, they send the
They go
kids
to Methodist.
to tongue.
Yeah, downtown
Mm-hmm.
to meet up with the rich and famous.
Right.
But all the time, Holy Innocent School was one of the dominant schools in the neighborhood.
Yep.
Because everybody who went to Holy Innocent,
Coming out from Munich sometimes.
they come out good.
Yeah.
Mount St. Albans was a little shaky school.
Mm-hmm.
It's until modern time when Mount St. Albans really knocked back. But Holy Innocent, you put Holy Innocent for the population. Holy Innocent was good.
Yes.
Yeah, look at the Ladi community.
Mm-hmm.
Bellevue Land, Lakachut. Everybody went to Holy Innocents.
Mm-hmm.
And almost everybody was successful.
Yeah.
When you look at the people coming from the Blando and Post Royal, they went to
Monks and
Mount St.
Tavern.
Albans.
Yeah.
And they didn't achieve.
Yeah.
So something was wrong.
It was too far maybe for them to walk.
Well, they had to pass understand first before they go to Mount St. Albans, though.
Yes.
If you guys remember, in my time, there was a time we used to stone Monks and Taverns children because
Yeah.
But getting back to our neighborhood, Teddy, I mean, you guys used to educate us, the younger ones. I remember you used to go when you had time from your work, you'd go to the courthouse and come home and tell us stories about what's happening in the courts. And remember?
Yeah, I suppose. You see, okay, in America now, the kids could do that.
Yes.
But back home now, you have to be a grown man to sneak in the court.
So
you call it mock trial.
Yeah, mock trial.
You don't have that home.
Right.
So now you want to become a lawyer, so you cannot get really the opportunity to go and listen a case. You might be poor, and they won't accept you in there.
Right.
So there was a lot of things that was kind of taken away from us.
Right.
But where the guys from Grenville could go and get trials for soccer or cricket, we couldn't do that.
Right.
Because we're from the country.
Yes.
So there was a lot of setbacks for us.
But I don't think we ever took it and made it a disadvantage. Like I remember Because teacher Owen and those guys and them played in Grenville, played wherever
Yeah.
live and go. But even with you whatever you learned, you came and shared with us.
Yep.
All those court cases you used to act both parts. I remember the one with I Duncan.
Yeah. We used to practice, right? Yeah, we practicing. But I can tell you something.
Yeah.
That Holiness and School was a good school.
Mm-hmm.
Not to deviate from the topic, right?
Right.
But some of the teachers in the school should have been taught. Because the teachers used to brutalize.
Yeah.
They was arrogant. They didn't give you a chance to learn sometimes.
That was a Grenada thing, though, I think. And because we had corporal punishment at that time, right, Riff?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what happened is that the teacher was never taught how to teach.
Right.
No.
A guy might just leave SAS with 2 or 3 levels and go in front of a classroom, and you and him was sitting in a class a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
What much does he know more than you? You understand what I'm saying? And then when you challenge him,
yes,
get offended.
Yes. I
You
remember getting flogged once for saying,
yeah, because I'm the teacher and you are the student.
And
who are you to correct me?
Yeah, and
you couldn't challenge a teacher. Although he might be wrong, you have to give him right.
Yeah, well,
you can't challenge a teacher.
Otherwise you get flogged.
And that's what happened, man, you know.
But the other thing too, some teachers used to take their personal issues into the school.
Yeah, I know that.
So they know something about you because they live close to you. Tomorrow morning you're getting flogging based on what they knew about you.
Yeah.
But but think about it though. We still were resilient. These things didn't deter us from learning. We found various ways to learn, and especially you, Teddy, you broke out kind of barrier. How you used to be hanging out with St. Louis and them boys and them.
well, you had to mix, You had to mix, But then you had to put yourself in position where you will get the opportunity to learn.
Right.
You had to promote yourself then.
Yes. So I think we have to do this again because I want to have closer to the election. I want us to have like a night of we just talking jokes, like those jokes we used to have back home about those characters that lived in our neighborhood, Jackson Shop and all those things. Uncle Pat.
Okay. Uncle
Zestman. Remember Zestman?
I was thinking about Uncle Pat the other day.
Really?
We might had it thought that Uncle Pat was a violent man. But Uncle Pat was the protector for the neighborhood.
Yes, he was. Yes.
He never harmed us. Eh?
He was the chief.
Yeah, he was the chief. He never harmed us.
No. But I remember two things used to happen in the neighborhood. Auntie Ivy was amazing comic, and she would come down and say, I heard cousin guy groaning up there. Something is, when they're gonna have the meetings and they start
Yeah.
Something is about to happen, cousin guy groaning up there. And when Uncle Valley drunk, Uncle Patty'd say things like, I don't issue any challenges, but I don't refuse any.
And Uncle Pat used to say a word. He said he was a hero. And a hero never died. So he don't afraid nobody.
Yeah.
Because he's a hero.
Yes. He had a lot of sayings. I don't live on borrowed feathers. I don't live on borrowed lands. I think that was a poem.
Yeah. So we took this thing gentle, but they had meaning to it.
Yes. Yeah. And now we can see what it meant, and we can apply those things, to our lives. Like, it's unbelievable. But we had a very good foundation, and I think it was because it was in the tradition.
Like I say, we had it good, and we had it bad. But I wouldn't say the badness was bad, because that's how it was at the time.
Yeah. I honestly believe that. But I want to thank you and Riffet and your family, because we have about 3 minutes left. So Is there anything you want to educate us with? I'll say Raphael, because Teddy might go longer.
Nah. Let it go first, man.
Okay, go
give me,
first,
give me his flowers.
You know,
say that he's older.
what I should say, I was trying to get to know the population of Waterfall Road, like where we used to live there.
Right.
It doesn't really have a great population there no more.
No.
Because when I check it from the junction by Sac there
Mm-hmm.
to by we there, it might be about 10 people.
About 10 families.
So everybody migrate. And the guys who left behind are not productive.
Yeah, the place has changed. You know, even people forget things. Like I was asking about Mayok Chapelle. You remember on that bank in front of Miss Smith there between Uncle Valley? This
Yeah.
like a wild potato?
Yeah.
Yeah. And cassava.
Yes, it's gone. There's nothing there. And people don't remember the name Mayok Chapelle.
Yeah.
Leon
Even by Archie there, where the shop was, there used to be a lot of green peas and all them things. You forget you used to play cricket there?
Yes, the pasture there, and then down by Morrison Yard there.
Yes. Well, all these things are them they're extinct.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like they were there.
Nah, and the land they get so small.
Yes.
To me, it looks like the land gets small. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because there was
Everything is different. Everything is different.
There was a cemetery on the bank there, you know. You remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was a kind of flower. I found the name the other day. I forgot. Something like a rose. And it smelled sweet on a big thing. And I think that was the only place I ever seen it in Grenada. And it's not local. It's not a Caribbean thing. So that means people brought it in there and planted it.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. We used to be underneath the breadfruit tree.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yes.
And what floor it was?
I'll tell you the
He has
name
a kind
after.
of leaf like a banana leaf in a small way.
Yeah.
And he used to produce a red flowers, something like a little teacup. You know.
So
okay.
Like a soup cup, like what you produce.
I think what you call that plant? It used to make a green seed too, like a green thing. That what they call young girl Bobby or something.
Oh, that one, we used to go poof with it. Not that one.
Yeah.
Nah, it kind of look like a Bali J.
Yes.
I think that's the best I could come up with. You know, I don't know the scientific nomenclature, but I think it might be related to the Bali J family. You know,
it's like a wild ginger like that thing.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's in that family.
Yeah.
I'll look. Yes, maybe wild ginger.
If you have a picture of it, just send it to me. I'm gonna get the name.
I know. So that's why. So our time is has gaspiated.
Yes.
You remember the time when we used to use big words? I want to thank you very much for those pleasant memories, the contributions your family made to Grenada and agriculture. And I want to say something about your mom before we finish. I remember one day your mom was beating your Teddy with a piece of wet cloth. She didn't. It was no real licks. I got belt. You guys got anything?
Socks. You should have beat us with socks.
Socks, pumpkin, anything.
And did you grab the hands